In 2013, the Philadelphia 76ers hire Sam Hinkie as general manager and immediately trade All-Star point guard Drew Holiday for 2 first-round picks. The move signals a long-view strategy: dump proven talent, accumulate assets, and aim for top draft odds. Over the next 2 years, the Sixers field one of the youngest rosters in NBA history and plummet to the bottom of the standings. In 2015, they finish 18-64, ranking 26th in offensive rating and dead last in home attendance. Hinkie drafts Joel Embiid 3rd overall in 2014, but the 7-footer from Kansas sits out 2 full seasons with foot injuries. Meanwhile, the team loses 28 straight games across 2014 and 2015, an all-time NBA record. The roster includes more 10-day contracts than returning starters, and at one point, over 50% of available minutes go to undrafted players. As the losses pile up, Philly fans coin a new mantra: trust the process. The phrase sticks, and Embiid eventually embraces it as a personal slogan. But league officials, concerned about the optics of deliberate losing, pressure ownership to act. In 2016, Hinkie resigns under internal scrutiny, ending the NBA's most transparent tank job just as it begins to bear fruit. The fallout reshapes how the league thinks about rebuilding and sets up a rule change that will hit just in time for Zion. In 1996, the San Antonio Spurs lose David Robinson just 6 games into the season with a fractured foot. Their 35-year-old all-star center, who averaged 25 points and 12 rebounds the year before, is shelved for the year. With no Robinson, Sean Elliott battling injury, and Chuck Person out entirely, the Spurs crater to a 20-62 record 3rd worst in franchise history. Scoring drops to just 90.4 points per game, and home attendance dips below 16,000 for the first time since 1989. Fans nickname the season the Fall for Tim. Mid-season, general manager Greg Popovich fires head coach Bob Hill and names himself interim. That move sparks little on-court change, but positions Popovich to reshape the team. In May, the Spurs enter the draft lottery with 21.6% odds and land the 1st overall pick. They select Tim Duncan from Wake Forest, a 6'11" forward who averaged 20.8 points and 14.7 rebounds as a senior. 2 years later, Duncan and Robinson lead the Spurs to a 37-13 record and an NBA title in the lockout-shortened 1999 season. The rapid turnaround validates San Antonio's gamble, and Duncan's arrival marks the start of a 20-year playoff streak. The Cleveland Cavaliers closed the 2002-03 season with a 17-65 record, the worst in the Eastern Conference and the 2nd worst in the league. Their top scorer, Ricky Davis, averages just 20.6 points on 41% shooting, and fan attendance dips to below 12,000 per game. Facing both irrelevance and financial strain, team owner Gordon Gunn downplays the upcoming draft by claiming there's no LeBron in it. But in nearby Akron, a 6'8" high school senior averages 30 points and lands a Sports Illustrated cover before graduation. That summer, Cleveland wins the lottery with 22.5% odds and drafts LeBron James 1st overall. In his rookie season, LeBron posts 20.9 points, 5.9 assists, and 5.5 rebounds per game, becoming the first teenager to average 20+. The Cavaliers improved by 18 wins and finished 35-47, missing the playoffs but doubling ticket sales. National broadcasts jumped from 3 games to 17, and Cleveland's merchandise revenue triples. LeBron's immediate impact validates the tank and resets the franchise's trajectory. The Cavaliers' lottery win sets off a new era of star-driven rebuilds just as another team quietly begins its own descent in San Antonio. The 2006-07 Boston Celtics drop 18 of their final 24 games, finishing 24 to 58 second worst in the league. Paul Pierce, their leading scorer at 25.0 points per game, sits for large chunks of the season with an elbow injury. GM Danny Ainge denies any tanking strategy, but the timing of player absences and the team's late-season collapse suggest otherwise. With the league's third-best lottery odds at 39%, Boston positions itself to land either Greg Oden or Kevin Durant, the consensus top two prospects. The lottery backfires. Boston falls to the 5th overall pick and selects Jeff Green, a versatile Georgetown forward, then trades him to Seattle for veteran shooter Ray Allen. A month later, they acquire Kevin Garnett from Minnesota, forming a new core with Allen and a healthy Pierce. The trio leads Boston to a 66-16 record and the 2008 championship just 1 year after their worst season in a decade. The tank doesn't land them a superstar rookie, but it sets the table for a veteran super team. The 2018-19 Phoenix Suns post a 19-63 record, worst in the Western Conference and second worst in the league. Despite featuring no one pick DeAndre Ayton and a rising scorer in Devin Booker, they finished 29th in both offensive and defensive efficiency. Their net rating plummets to -9.7, and they drop 17 of their last 20 games. The tank as transparent veterans are benched, and development minutes go to rookies and two-way players. By March, Phoenix is openly chasing lottery odds in hopes of landing Zion Williamson, the most hyped prospect since LeBron James. But the lottery reshuffle bites back. Under the NBA's new flattened odds, Phoenix enters with a 14% shot at the top pick, same as New York and Cleveland, but slides to the 6th slot. They miss out on Zion and Ja Morant, who go first and second. Then, in a widely panned move, they trade down and select Cam Johnson at no. 4 years older than most lottery picks and projected as a late first-rounder. ESPN's Jay Bilas calls it the most surprising pick of the draft. 2 years later, Johnson starts 16 games in a finals run, averaging 8.2 points and 44.6% from deep across the playoffs. The Suns' tank job doesn't land a generational talent, but it uncovers a key floor spacer and a conference-winning core. Phoenix's whiff on Zion sets a pattern that repeats 1 year later for Golden State. The 2022-23 Houston Rockets finish with a 22-60 record, the second worst mark in the NBA. It's their third consecutive season below 25 wins, and the worst defensive rating in the league, 118.6 points, allowed per 100 possessions, signals deeper structural issues. Houston ranks last in assists, last in three-point percentage, and plays the youngest rotation in the NBA by average age. Stephen Silas, hired in 2020 to shepherd the post-Harden era, is fired immediately after the season. Ownership pivots toward development and star hunting, placing full organizational focus on the upcoming draft. Houston enters the 2023 lottery with eyes on Victor Wembanyama, the 7'4" French prospect averaging 21.6 points and 3.0 blocks in the LNB Pro A. They hold a 14% shot at the top pick but fall to 4th, selecting Amen Thompson, a 6'7" playmaker from Overtime Elite with elite speed but no outside shot. They later steal Cam Whitmore at pick 20 despite a flagged medical report, who proceeds to win Summer League MVP. With Ime Udoka signed as head coach and veteran presences like Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks added, the rebuild accelerates into a more disciplined, defense-first project. Houston's youth movement, once purely developmental, now shifts toward competitive structure, setting up a different kind of tank to turn around than the process Sixers or Duncan-era Spurs. Stephen Curry breaks his left hand in the 4th game of the 2019-20 season. sidelining the league's top scorer from just 4 years prior. Klay Thompson, meanwhile, hasn't played since tearing his ACL in the 2019 Finals. With Kevin Durant now in Brooklyn and Andre Iguodala off the roster, Golden State's championship core collapses virtually overnight. The Warriors finish 15-50, the worst record in the entire NBA, and shut down Draymond Green early as well. It's their first time missing the playoffs since 2012, and their worst win total since the Joe Smith era. Because the season is cut short by the COVID-19 pandemic, the team never plays more than 65 games. But their poor showing secures them strong lottery odds, and in October 2020, they win the number 2 pick selecting 7-foot center James Wiseman, who averages 11.5 points and 5.8 rebounds across 39 games as a rookie. He struggles to find rhythm in Steve Kerr's read and react system, missing significant time with knee issues and development setbacks. After 2 seasons on the bench and extended stints in the G League, the Warriors trade him to Detroit in a multi-team deal to reacquire Gary Payton II. The swap reunites them with a defender who helped secure their 2022 title, but marks the end of a tank job that briefly paused the dynasty. In the 2018-19 season, 3 teams raced to the bottom. The Knicks finished 17-65, their worst mark since 2015. The Cavaliers and Suns fare little better, each winning fewer than 20 games and closing the year with negative net ratings of -9.6 and -10.1, respectively. All 3 enter the lottery with hopes of landing the No. 1 pick, which now carries only a 14% chance under the NBA's flattened odds system. The Knicks, despite having the league's worst record, fall to 3rd. The Pelicans, who finished 33-49, leap from the 7th best lottery odds to the top spot with just a 6% chance. New Orleans selects Zion Williamson, the most hyped prospect since LeBron. At 6'6", 284 pounds with a 45-inch vertical, Zion debuts in January 22 points in just 18 minutes, hitting .444 from 3. He averages 22.5 points on 58% shooting as a rookie and makes the All-Star team in year 2. But recurring foot, knee, and hamstring injuries limit his availability. He plays just 114 games in his first 4 seasons. Meanwhile, Ja Morant, taken second by Memphis, becomes Rookie of the Year and a franchise cornerstone. The flattened lottery odds help tanking teams less, but they do reshape a franchise overnight. The Knicks fall to 3rd prompts another overhaul, while the Pelicans enter a holding pattern, waiting for Zion's health to catch up to his promise. The 2003-04 Orlando Magic opened the season with a 1-19 collapse and never recover. They finished dead last in the league at 21-61. Despite Tracy McGrady leading the NBA in scoring for the 2nd straight year at 28.0 points per game. It's a confusing paradox. The league's most explosive scorer plays on its least successful team. The roster around him offers little support. Grant Hill appears in just 29 games, and the team cycles through 23 different players by season's end. Attendance drops below 14,000 per game, and head coach Doc Rivers is fired after just 11 games. In the 2004 draft, Orlando wins the lottery and faces a franchise-altering choice between Emeka Okafor, the proven and be-a-ready college star, and Dwight Howard, a raw 18-year-old high schooler with a 7 feet 4 inches wingspan and no college experience. General manager John Weisbrod selects Howard first overall, betting on long-term upside over immediate impact. That gamble pays off. Howard becomes a 5-time All-NBA first-team center and anchors the league's best defense by 2009. Under Stan Van Gundy, the Magic reached the NBA Finals that year, powered by Howard's league-leading rebounding and shot blocking. The tank that began with a 1-19 freefall sets the foundation for the best Magic team since Shaq and Penny. Next, a different team starts 0-18 and hits a franchise low not even. Dwight could lift, setting the stage for Nets 2010. The 2009-10 New Jersey Nets opened the season with 18 consecutive losses, the worst start in NBA history. Head coach Lawrence Frank, who has led the team since 2004, is fired after an 0-16 start. General manager Kiki Van de Weeg takes over on the bench, but the results barely improve. New Jersey finishes 12-70, recording the worst winning percentage, 146, in franchise history. Despite Brook Lopez averaging 18.8 points and 8.6 rebounds, the roster lacks offensive cohesion and veteran leadership. Their 92.4 points per game ranks dead last in the league. The Nets enter the draft lottery with the league's worst record, but the ping-pong balls don't cooperate. They fall to the third pick. Washington wins the top slot and drafts John Wall, while New Jersey selects Derek Favors, a 6 feet 10 inches power forward from Georgia Tech. Favors plays just 56 games in a Nets uniform before being traded in February 2011, part of a deal to acquire all-star point guard Deron Williams from Utah. It's a win-now pivot, but the groundwork is shaky. The franchise relocates to Brooklyn 2 seasons later, still searching for long-term stability. If you made it this far, you're one of the real ones. At BBall Decoded, we don't sugarcoat the past. We break it down, team by team, draft by draft, mistake by mistake. If you love deep NBA stories, critical breakdowns, and raw basketball truth, hit that like button, subscribe for more team deep dives, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss what's coming next.